on, John.
Good evening. It's August 18th, 2025, and it's Monday, and it's my pleasure and distinct honor to be speaking with Mr. John J. Jeckovich. How are you doing today?
Very good, thank you.
You're looking well. Mr. Jeckovich was from Company H, the 2nd Battalion of the 291st Regiment of the 75th Infantry Division of the U.S. Army during World War II. Mr. Jeckovich lives by the motto, yesterday is history, tomorrow is a mystery, and today is a gift. We haven't read in a while. You want me to read a few pages?
Yeah.
Okay. In order to open up the computer for your book, I'll need the code number.
42965.
All right, thank you. We're reading Mr. Jeckovich's book, and it's titled Their Mother's Sons. And how many pages is the book?
849.
Yeah, we already read it once. All around we read it. Now, when the second time around, we're on chapter 9, and this one is titled Crossing the Channel. Now, this is the part where Mr. Jeckovich is going to go frontline and start fighting. And he's just left Haverford West, where he was there for many weeks, visiting with his girlfriend, Jean Rowland Young. So
Yeah, where'd she go?
What's that?
Where'd she go?
We don't know where Jean Rowland Young went.
Yeah.
That's the one we couldn't find. So we're going to start with page 250 and go there. They're crossing over to over the English Channel. They go to front lines. I'm going to pick up where we left off. They plucked various concoctions on our trays, and I did not have the slightest idea what they were. I found out the later was lamb, mutton, stew, boiled potatoes and Brussels sprouts, and a biscuit for dessert. Was lamb and mutton very popular there in Wales?
Oh, yeah. Where's this at now?
This is where you're crossing the channel. You're getting to the first spot.
Oh, the British family.
Yeah. And is this the first time you had Brussels sprouts?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you still eat Brussels sprouts today?
Yeah.
Okay. The only item in my estimation that was edible was a hot tea, and I drank it unapprovingly. I noticed that most of the men did not eat much and left most of their food on their trays. I was very thankful the Army had handed out K rations. I could also see that we would not last. I could also see they would not last in the time allowed. So they actually had to get more K rations than they gave you. I noticed that there were no officers at the mess, so no officers were eating there. Neither Sergeant Rupert nor Sergeant Whalen were present. As a matter of fact, neither was T5 Eckert. Who's T5 Eckert?
Eckert is a CQ.
Is he a good guy?
Yeah, young kid. Yeah, a young kid.
With his smirky look, eating, I could just visualize T5 Eckert with his smirky look, eating a large steak comfortably.
Well, I was going out all the time.
Yeah, at a dining room table along with Sergeant Rupert and Whalen and all the officers that we had. The combination of boiling steamed cabbage and the mutton stew, along with the evaporative boiling water, was used to sterilize the eating utensils that made me nauseous. So that smell of the cabbage and the mutton stew boiling made you nauseous. I wanted to only get out of the immediate area. I dumped the food into a large garbage can they provided and slid the empty tray along the narrow metal counter where a Navy messman quickly immersed it into an awful smelling boiling water for the disinfectant. This made me even more queasy, and I quickly headed for the doorway and the fresh air of the open deck. Oh, you're on the ship going across the channel.
Under the waterline, yeah.
Yeah, There were some men mingling about the area, and I waited for the rest of the squad to come out. Shortly thereafter, Lape came out, looking a little bit green around the gills and walking erratically. I asked him what was the matter, and quickly replied, He did not feel good and was sick to his stomach. I said a little fresh air would fix him right up, even though it was not helping me one bit. We waited for the rest of the squad, and in a short order they appeared. Feeling worse from the ordeal of their first meal on board of a British Navy ship.
Yeah.
Wasn't good, right?
Yeah.
What's wrong with your food?
It was greasy.
Yeah. Everyone got sick, right?
Yeah.
We headed down our individual bunking areas, and the general consensus was to lie down as soon as we got there. None of us felt too well, and the acceleration and rolling and pitching of the ship did not help any either.
Yeah.
Seasickness too, right? Wow. The sea had gotten rougher and the sky had blackened considerably, with now even the moon not even the moon showing through. It appeared as if it was one big dark cave. That impression would have been reinforced more, but it had not been for the turbulent movement of the ship and the noise of the diesel engines. Were the diesel engines loud?
Oh, yeah.
You could smell them?
Oh, yeah.
They'll make you sick too. I spent one of the two shelter halves on a warm day, and using my light pack for the pillow, stretched out my wool knit cap and gloves on. Lake did the same thing minus his cap and gloves, and then we threw the remaining shelter halves over us to cut out the wind and afford some warmth. I closed my eyes, attempting to think of something else besides the pain in my stomach, hoping that Lake or I would not throw up. So that's how sick you were then, right?
Yeah.
I thought of Jean. Jean is Jean Rowland Young, that you just left her the day before in Haverfordwest. That was your girlfriend in Wales. And how we huddled against one another as we sat on the bench listening to the planes overhead. What kind of planes were overhead?
Spitfires.
And describe what you'd see and hear.
Blue three coming out of the rear.
A lot of noise?
Yeah.
Yeah. They were flying across Wales to bomb the Germans.
Yeah.
Yeah. Leib got up several times to dash to the ship's railing. He would dry heave over the side and then return moaning and slightly and bad-mouthing the army. Leib was bad-mouthing the army for getting him into this dilemma. Yeah.
Getting him into what?
Getting him into this dilemma. Leib would bad-mouth the army for getting him into this dilemma of being in the military.
Yeah.
I mentioned that it would get a lot rougher than this before it was all over with, one way or the other.
Yeah.
It did get a lot rougher.
Yeah.
Poor Donald Lake got his head blown off. That was it. Since I did not want to carry on a conversation with Leip on his misfortunes in the army, I turned on my side facing the bulkheads and pretend I was asleep. So you don't want to talk to anyone. You just pretended you were asleep, right? That's funny. I like that. The cold night air was not that menacing, as the shelter halves protect us from the wind and some of the dampness. What does a shelter half look like?
Shelter has a piece of heavy blanket.
It's a blanket?
It's not a blanket. It's a big cover.
Like a canvas?
Yeah.
And you put it over your head and stuff?
Well, you put it on the ground to kick the dampness off the ground and put it around to keep warm.
Oh, okay. So it's just to keep you warm.
Yeah.
Okay. Since I did not want to carry on the conversation with Leip on his misfortunes in the army, I turned on my side facing the bulkheads and pretended I was asleep. It was not much later that I heard Leip snoring on his back. I only hoped that he would not throw up while asleep. Oh my God. Oh boy. Oh, what a night. The cold night air was not menacing, as the shelter halves provided from the wind and some dampness. It was damp up there?
Yeah.
Yeah. As I lay there, I thought about Anne and wondered if she ever thought about me. The very thought of Anne felt as if I was in another world, light years away from here, and all the memories and the times we were together. There too, I also did not appreciate my good fortune and did not capitalize or build upon it. I could still conjure up some memories of the places and events we shared together, but gradually it was all becoming entangled with my experiences with Jean, and it all became obscure and confusing. Yeah, that's how the mind works. Things just don't stay as you expected them to, or the reality of it. Late snoring became very annoying, so I got up and laid the open shelter half against him and began to walk the deck area. There were some people about, mostly the 3rd platoon, and I chatted with them for a while, then moved on to the stern of the ship. I came upon Fink. How was Fink?
Think was all right.
Did he make it through the war?
Oh, he got killed. He
got killed?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the 2 guys you're with, Fink and Down Lake, they both got killed.
Yeah.
Yeah. How did Fink get killed?
Huh?
How did Fink get killed? How did Fink get killed?
Got killed. He got hit with a sniper.
You know, he was walking down the road, like checking it out, and then a sniper kicked him.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Down
The
Lake had
sniper
dirty.
got him on the 2nd floor.
What's that?
Sniper got him. He was up on the 2nd
And
floor.
did you shoot at the 2nd floor?
Yeah.
Yeah. What happened there?
Well, the sniper shot his flank. He shot his shoulder with his flank.
Yeah. And then Leib got hit with a dirty bomb and he died too. So both these guys were talking about, you know, God rest their souls, they got hit. They got hit hard. I came upon Fink leaning against the railing and asked him if he could not sleep also. He smiled his usual smile and said, rather thoughtfully, that he was not sleepy. Besides, he was standing by the railing in case he had to go. I turned toward the open sea and said, you two, I bet everyone is sick on this tub, and I'm thankful when we get off of it. So I don't understand why they cooked us such a meal that made every single soldier sick. Could have been poisoned or something.
Yeah, probably food poisoning.
Food poisoning.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the limeys cooking it, right?
Yeah.
You think they could have purposely poisoned you?
No.
It was just maybe just bad food,
Yeah.
dated food. Wow, can't eat nothing there. He agreed with me, and it was here I mentioned the absence of officers and non-coms. He related that the scuttlebutt was they were not even on board, but were on a much larger American ship with private quarters and first-class meals. So as it turned out, the foot soldiers were on this ship, but it says here that the officers were on another ship, which is an American ship, and they all had private quarters
Yeah.
and cooks. Yep, not nice. I sarcastically replied, that was the Army. Rank has its privilege, right?
Yeah.
He agreed, and I mentioned Varilla's despondent mood, and he explained that he too noticed it and would keep an eye on him. What was wrong with Varilla?
What?
What was wrong with Varilla?
Varela?
Yeah.
He was a young kid.
Homesick?
Yeah.
Did he make it through the war?
Yeah, I don't know, he got hurt, they sent him home or something, he got home.
So they could have sent him back.
Yeah.
Maybe a Section 8?
No, he won't get a Section 8, no.
I wonder why they sent him back then. He said he knew that what I meant and then asked about late. I said he was getting usual about the Army and the lousy deal it afforded him. This is Leip said the Army gave him a lousy deal. Outside of that, he was sound asleep, snoring up a storm. We both chuckled and then talked about what lay ahead of us for the next few days. He did not have too much information to provide, as there were no higher authority to brief him, and the rest of the squad leaders were all gone. But even if you ask the squad leader what's gonna go on,
They don't know, they don't know.
they don't know.
15.
But the ship keeps moving, right? All he definitely was then was left to the ship. We would rendezvous somewhere on shore and form up into our division pattern. For us, that would be the 291st Infantry, Regiment 2 Battalion, and we'd adhere to the TO, Table of Organization, until further advised. Fink also mentioned that it would be several days to regroup the entire regiment as they scattered about. So it'd take a long time to get together, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. He said they would take Post several days to find us. Who was Post?
Post?
Yeah.
Post was the driver.
And did he make it through the war?
Yeah, he made it through the war, yeah.
He said it would take Post several days to find us, and he hoped that he not lose our trailer in the process. So all your personal things were in the trailer that Post was driving.
Post was the driver, yeah.
But you're taking a ship to your location. How could he be driving to the location?
Say again?
Post is a driver, right?
Yeah.
He's driving a Jeep, pulling a trailer.
Yeah.
How did he get to your location if he wasn't on the ship?
Well, he landed somewhere and picked us up.
Okay. Uh-huh. What took place after that was anyone's guess and was entirely up to the higher echelon. You said one time the higher echelon you had a run-in with General Patton, and he was known for blood and guts. How did that go?
Yeah, his blood and our guts.
Or his
Huh?
guts and your blood.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. We talked a little bit about Breckenridge, Owensboro, Evansville, and the girl he had met there and occasionally written to. He then mentioned Haverford West and in meeting Jean at the dance. He wondered if there's anything serious between the two of us, since we're so compatible, and she certainly was attractive and pleasant. So now we're speaking of Jean and Haverford West,
Yeah.
right? No, we're speaking of Jean in Haverford West, correct. I stated that we were quite close, but nothing serious developing, like marriage or even an engagement. I then mentioned Anne, for I knew that he was aware of me seeing Anne frequently on my pass. He did not comment much on Anne, but politely and tactfully skirted a while the subject. I appreciate his tactfulness. It was one of his traits I admired about him. We talked about home, he mostly, and I just listened, and I occasionally agreed with something he would say and make a small comment. I still did not feel comfortable talking to anyone about my home life, and I guess it would come out in my hesitancy to approach the subject. We finally agreed that we wished we were somewhere else, preferably back home rather than here. With that profound statement by both of us, we agreed that it was getting late and we better get some sleep. I enjoyed talking to Fink, and I was thankful for times we had together. Considering what was about to happen in a very short while, now you're getting really close to the front line.
Yeah.
It was working its way up over months. I reached my area and I could hear Leif snoring from a distance. I rearranged the shelter halves and crawled under my half, getting out of the cold, damp night air. The motion of the ship lurching in the rough sea put me to sleep almost instantly. My stomach felt much better, and I dreamed I was back in Owensboro, sitting in Anne's automobile, overlooking the lights of Evansville, Indiana. The cold night air, which was almost likened to the same temperature as Owensboro, made me sense the nearness of Anne, and I felt a closeness to her. Okay, now we're jumping over. We're jumping over to chapter 10.
Yeah.
Church service and the bulge. This is quite ironic, you know. How many pages is this book?
849.
This is quite ironic. Today is August 18th. But I have a footnote on this page, because we read the whole book in 600 of Mr. Jeckovich's YouTubes. We read the whole book. We're second time around on chapter 10. But look how interesting. Last time we read the book on chapter 10, it was July 16th, 2024.
Wow.
So it's almost a whole year away
Yeah.
since we read it, that chapter. Okay, this is church service and the bulge. Church service and the bulge. How many minutes, please?
16.
I was awakened with the bright sunlight shining directly on my face. Leif was still asleep, but not snoring at this time.
Correction, 9.
The sea had calmed down considerably along with the wind, and I was thankful for that. I got up and placed my half of the shelter over Leif and reached for my light pack, which I've been using for a pillow. All I wanted to do at this time was to brush my teeth. Only problem was I did not have any water to rinse my mouth after brushing. I found my toothbrush and my toothbrush and toothpaste and located a remote spot behind the bulkhead to brush my teeth. For some strange reason, it did not feel right to stand amidship and to be seen brushing one's teeth. I swished most of the toothpaste out of my mouth, but it still tasted the peppermint flavor, which did not do much for my sensitive stomach. Wow. Returning, I found Leif still sleeping. So Leif spent the whole night sleeping.
Yeah.
I gave him several tugs on the shelter half and called him out to get up, at the same time stowing my toilet articles. I gently nudged him again. He started to stir and blink his eyes in the bright sunlight. Anything I could not tolerate was seeing someone who I did not especially care for when I first woke up. You didn't want to see what you couldn't tolerate was someone that you really didn't care for when they first woke up. I don't blame you. I don't blame you. It just annoyed me greatly. To distract myself from watching Leif, I started to fold the shelter halves and tidy up our sleeping area. I could just imagine that. In all likelihood, we would not be here tonight. In all probability, we'd be on dry land again, yeah. I told Leif to straighten up a bit, and then we would try our luck at the galley once again for some chow. So now you're going to try it again for some chow. Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord. I was not looking forward to a visit to the ship's galley after our unsavory experience the night before. How could you do it? How could you do it? As we approached the galley, once again, the unpleasant, noxious odor coming from within its confines. I was starting to get sick all over again.
Yeah.
And Leif came to the same conclusion. We asked one of the messmen what was for breakfast, and he quickly replied, "You asked the messman what was for breakfast," and he replied, "Bangers and smashers." What's bangers and smashers?
Bangers and hot dogs and something, I don't know.
Was it good?
Well, food.
What was for breakfast? He replied, "Bangers and smashers, as usual." Well, bangers were a large, greasy pork sausage.
Yeah.
Oh my God. And smashers were either boiled or fried potatoes. I did not relish either, and Leif was not too enthusiastic about the breakfast as such. So Leif came from a very cloistered, sheltered life, right?
Yeah.
And his parents always kind of babied him, and they probably had a real beautiful breakfast for him every morning.
Yeah.
And now look. I settled for some hot coffee, which was terrible, and a few biscuits. Leif tried the bangers and smashers, but after a mouthful, settled also for coffee and biscuits. Those guys don't know how to cook.
Yeah.
Holy hell. Thank goodness this would be our last visit to the galley. For the scuttlebutt was, we'd be landing off the coast of France sometimes before dark. Yeah. Landing off the coast of France because the Nazis have been occupying France and mainly Paris for many years, and you and 1,000 other guys kicked the Nazis' asses out of France and back to Berlin and back to Berlin, which was rather completely devastated by American and UK bombs. We walked back to our area and stowed our shelter halves into our packs and policed the area. What's police the area mean?
Clean up the area.
Clean it up.
Yeah.
Since we would not be back. Lape sat on the deck contemplating some far-off thing, and I decided to walk about the ship and see if I could find out about any more news. I talked to some of the men from the 2nd platoon, but they did not know anything. And I found it doesn't seem no one in this army knows anything.
Yeah.
Where you're going, what you're doing.
Well, that's the way it's supposed to be.
How the hell, it's the way it's supposed to be, okay.
Yeah.
I finally wound up at the fantail and arrived. There was just Fink was coming for breakfast. I asked him how he liked the breakfast. He smiled and asked, what breakfast? So Fink was a character, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you remember him saying that?
Oh, yeah.
Was he an older or younger guy?
Who?
Fink.
Fink?
Yeah.
Average, 19 years old.
Fink did not know any more news than the rest of us. How could he? There were no officers on the ship, or even a first sergeant or platoon sergeant on board. The more I thought about it, the angrier I got. So all the top brass is not on this ship. They're in a private ship.
Yeah.
Steak dinners.
Yeah.
The Army was always spouting off about team integrity and leadership. There was no team integrity shown here, and certainly there was no leadership displayed here. Fink and a few squad leaders, most whom were not even in grade, were all the leadership we had since leaving Breckenridge. Fink was busy getting his gear together, so I made the excuse I had to go to the head and began walking to the front of the ship. I still did not see any sign of land in any direction. It was clear out, even though it was cold and raw. The sun was out, and if I stood or sat in the warmth and glow, I could still feel the warmth once again. I found a warm spot in the sunlight, pulled out my paperback book, and read the reading from I had left off several days ago. It was Dostoevsky's Brothers Karamazov, and I enjoyed reading it once again. It would help release some of the tension and form a bit of an escape from the situation we're confronted with. Some of the like dreaming we're somewhere else besides where we are presently. I must have been reading for over an hour, and I started to become cold once again as the sun moved from where I was sitting. Minutes, please.
1 minute and just under 2.
Wow. We got some reading under our belt, Mr. Jeckovich, which
Yeah,
was good.
yeah.
But that ship wasn't nice, was it?
Yeah.
Did you ever, once you got out of the service, did you ever eat limey food again?
The what?
Once you got out of the service, did you ever eat limey food again?
No.
Mutton?
No.
Yeah.
Mutton stew?
You wouldn't do that again, right?
No.
Wow. So that was a pretty interesting ship. That it was run by the Limeys,
Yeah.
and all the head guys were someplace else, right?
Yeah.
Could you tell us what the weather was like?
It's cold and raw.
And then this galley, this is where the Limey cooks made the dinners. What was the smell that was so bad in there?
That was what they were cooking, something. I thought they were cooking brains, but they weren't.
It was something pretty bad, right?
Yeah.
Wow. After you get out of service, I'm just curious, were you really, really appreciative of your mother's cooking once again?
Oh, yeah.
What a treat, huh?
Yeah.
What a treat, huh?
Oh,
Your mother's making you food once you got out of service
yeah.
compared to what you had
Yeah.
in the war. What was some of the favorite dishes your mother would make for you?
What?
What were some of the dishes, your favorite dishes your mother would make for you?
Stuffed cabbage, spaghetti and meatballs, leg of lamb.
It was all good, huh?
Yeah.
Wow, sounds good.
How much time?
15 seconds.
Did your mother do a lot of Polish cooking?
Huh?
Did your mother do a lot of Polish cooking?
No, she was Americanized.
Did she cook you pierogies or kishka?
Yeah, yeah,
Was that good?